Hi, hello, welcome back. My name is Devraj. Welcome back to my channel on bioenergetics. Today I want to look, because we've just completed going through all the different Reichian character stereotypes, how would those guys be doing under lockdown? Because it's quite often it's fun, interesting psychological exercise. So, and there are 8 of them basically, 8 of them. I don't know that we'll be able to do all of them. Let's have a go at doing all of them, we'll see. So the orals of a first character, and the orals are characterized by a abandonment or some form of withdrawal wound in extremely early infancy. Usually the first 6 months, could be up to a year, something like that. Maybe you have a genetic predisposition, but orals will be struggling under lockdown. They will be struggling. Their core is they want to merge. They want to find some other being that they can just merge with, ideally without them having to do too much to move towards the person. So, you know, lockdown could be, it could be even, they could be having apocalyptic scenarios going through their mind, the orals. You know, it's really not going to be easy because, you know, they're thwarted. They're thwarted from any chance of merging. Of course, orals they could be happy if they're locked down with another person, because now that person can't escape. So that could be quite good for the orals. Likewise, if you're an oral but also got quite strong dreamer, schizoid as it was originally called, tendencies, then, you know, you may be kind of in the queue outside the supermarket on your little 2 meter apart plate, and you're almost trophyizing the separation. Trophyizing the separation in your mind. So it could, on that level, be quite kind of inner dramatic and exciting for the orals. That's the orals. Let's look at the second character type, the endurers. So endurers are characterized by an invasion wound from extremely early childhood, before the kind of what in Freudian terms was known as the genital ego has formed or begun to form at around 18 months, 15 to 18 months. They have had their power squashed, you know, by usually by an over-controlling adult, essentially. Frequently the mother, but not always the mother. And so, you know, endurers aren't really going to be struggling too much under lockdown, you know. I mean, you know, okay, they're sitting on the sofa, they can still complain about a few things. You know, it's God, you know, the government, bloody hell. The good thing for endurers, of course, particularly if they're in Britain or many European and I think America as well, you're going to get money from the government. And of course, endurers always believe that they are, you know, that they are bloody owed. We are owed, you know. This is the fundamental endurer, or one fundamental aspect of the endurer character. We are owed. You know, the invasion wound has come in, their muscularity tends to suppress all the anger and emotion inside that their ego naturally generates. But an underlying characteristic is this basic belief, I'm fucking owed. And so, you know, that once the money starts coming in, they're going to feel happy about it. But of course, it won't really be enough. You know, it won't really be enough for the endurers. Let's move on to the rigids. And here we have like 4, it's usually subcategorized into 4 different characters. And the rigids are all characterized, I mean, it varies, but they're characterized traditionally by, you know, wounds that come on later. Usually wounds that come on later, deprivation or control, invasion, but more towards the age of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Parents really, you know, laying their trip on the kid to, you know, how to be successful, to get love and this kind of thing. And the rigids, let's look at the the so-called hysteric females. I don't really like the term personally, but it is the one in common psychoanalytic use. The hysteric females, I mean, initially lockdown, yeah, it's going to be a bit of a fucking drag for them. You know, they tend to be very busy with structure and with, you know, hierarchies and social order and their place within the social order. I mean, so, you know, they're now stuck at home with the kids maybe, or the partner or whatever. You know, they're going to have to be quite dictatorial in this situation. They're also probably going to struggle that they can't get down the hairdresser. This is going to be not easy for them. They will be busy with social status and looking good in the environment, and it could be challenging for them. It could well be challenging for the hysteric women, particularly after a while, you know. I mean, because they on a core ego level need something to distinguish them from other women in particular, and the herd in general. You know, it's that's how their psyche has adapted to the conditions of their childhood. Likewise with on the male side, because the rigids tend to be characterized male to female because it's post-genital development in psychological terms. You have the phallic narcissist, the kind of male equivalent of the hysteric female, characterized again by, well, wanting to get ahead, wanting to be powerful, wanting to be seen as the alpha male, the man, you know. So they will be, steam. It's going to be tricky for them because they want to steam around the place and do stuff. You know, they're going to be feeling a little bit like a kind of caged tiger at times in this lockdown, you know, and they're going to want to, you know, they want someone to take a fucking position and do something about it. You know, they want to know what's going to happen. They want to know what's going to happen, and they want to know, and it's all planned out and laid out. You know, they want to know how their job's going to be in the future. You know, they're not going to want to wait to see how the virus gets on. They're going to regard that as weakness. They want to know now what is going to happen. So they're probably not going to be too happy right now. If we look at the two other rigids are the passive feminine male. God, how is the passive? See, I haven't really rehearsed this. The passive feminine male, how is he going to be dealing with the lockdown? I mean, he's probably not too upset about it. In a sense, there will be background anger there because there's always background anger there for passive feminine males. You know, they've got usually a kind of a slight masochist or endurer wound from early childhood, and then the father came in or the mother came in quite controlling later on. And I think they'll be doing okay. They'll be kind of passively getting along with their life, watching their computer. There may be quite a lot of anger and aggression stirring up in the background. And if they're on lockdown with other people, you know, that may come charging out at some point, and they will be struggling to hold it in. The final rigid category is the masculine aggressive female, and extremely go-getting, manipulative, will use sexuality. You know, it comes from a similar profile as the passive feminine male in terms of the early childhood, but they're going to be, I mean, they're also, you know, they're going to struggle with the lockdown and not being able to move around. It's going to be difficult for them. They're probably going to be quite on it with people, you know, really not very, really a pain in the fucking arse to be on lockdown with, essentially. Okay, let's move on. Let's get to the last two characters. The Dreamer, category number 4, traditionally, formerly known by Reich as the Schizoid. You know, these pathologizing names are a bit mad, but that is historically how it was. The Dreamer is someone whose reaction to very early childhood or even womb states is the underlying pathology is the belief that they are not wanted. And their tendency in this situation, or there can be other triggers, is to get out of the body, to go into their own dream world, to split their psyche up maybe into different compartments. And so in reality, probably the lockdown is not so bad for these guys. They might quite even be enjoying it because they've no longer got other people kind of cajoling them to, you know, get out and do something. You know, they can stay and be on Facebook and look at their computer and do all sorts of things, whatever, all the time. You know, I think dreamers could be quite happy actually in lockdown, and a little bit ashamed almost to admit it. Yep. And then let's look at the psychopath, the influencer or inspirer, the final category number 5, usually. This is slightly more complex because the childhood is not so well tracked back, and the general feelings are probably a little bit more genetic. But the psychopath is probably loving lockdown, basically, because I mean, the inspirer is probably loving lockdown because it's a challenge. It's a limit situation challenge, and they will want to dominate that situation. They'll want to dominate the shit out of it. They will probably be feeling quite happy that large numbers of people are living in absolute terror and fear because it demonstrates that they are better than those people, basically. Likewise, the phallic narcissist will be probably having this going on a little bit. But for the psychopath, this is a great situation in many ways. They will probably be online looking for followers. That certainly be like something that they'll see as an opportunity to get on, to do what they're doing online and try and get people to follow them. They struggle with any form of intimate relationship. So it could be tricky for them if they're holed up with a partner or a family, you know. It could be tricky, though they tend not to be so much people seeking those things. So what else could we say? No, I mean, they are probably going to enjoy. I laugh because I'm a little bit like that myself. Certainly the oral and the psychopath influencer are quite strong elements for me. But I've got most of them. But like, yeah, they're probably going to be quite happy that the rest of humanity is floundering around in a kind of, as they perceive it, a fear-driven sort of morass, you know, and they are just standing tall above it all, you know, sort of Mussolini style or something like that. Okay, so I think we've gone through them all now. Yeah, we've done all 8. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you found this useful and perhaps amusing, or maybe insightful even. And do feel free to like and subscribe. If you're interested in characterology, if you're interested in bioenergetics, then check out my work at bioenergetics.org.uk, and I shall speak to you later. Keep doing bioenergetics in the lockdown. It's good for you. I do it every day. Speak to you soon.